Kia ora, Sally Ann on the sofa here with Regan. Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for coming.
No, thanks for having me.
No, my pleasure. I just really want to get to know our candidates, and I thought, well, if I'm getting to know you all, why doesn't everybody get to know them all? Perfect. And also then we've got what you said on record, so you can't really go back and say, oh, I don't think I said that. Or my favourite, I don't recall. Always fun.
Yeah.
So you're standing for the community board.
I am, yeah.
Why?
Well, my story kind of begins in...
Not too far back, I hope.
Not too far back. Back when I was in Brazil on exchange. And there I took part in a lot of community protests and kind of... I'm sure you've heard about some of the stuff that happened in the Amazon recently. So pretty much the government at the time, especially during the Rio Olympics, were like kind of crazy, some of the stuff that they were doing. So I decided that I was going to make my stand and fight for the students who are in the area. And I loved it. And I thought, I came to the realization that if that can happen to Brazil, that can happen anywhere. And I wanted to make sure that stuff like this doesn't pass in New Zealand. So that's kind of why I'm running, especially in Wainuiomata. I've grown up here. This is where I've lived most of my short life. So I've come to realize that some of the stuff that's happening now mirrors some of the stuff that happens there. And when that starts happening, you need to start pressing hard. Yeah, absolutely.
It's what I think of when you say that is a government being led by developers and special interests rather than by and for the people.
Yeah, right.
That's what you mean.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just so we're clear, everybody. I'm going to spell it out because, spades are spades. Okay, cool.
Fair enough.
Do you have a signature dance move?
I do, yeah. And I've been thinking about it ever since I've been watching some of these. Yeah, so going a little bit back to kind of like the 2012 kind of era, my whole thing is like the Dougie. So I kind of get this going on, and then I kind of do a cat Dougie, which is kind of like that.
I'm loving it. Stupid.
Absolutely, yes. It's my number one trick.
So you think maybe on the Wainuiomata community board there'll be space for everyone to get their signature dance move out? Is that something we can implement?
It's something that I'm going to, campaign for.
Brilliant. Okay, good. You heard it here first. What do you see as the number one issue affecting, because you're standing for the Wainuiomata board, let's go Wainuiomata, what's the number one issue and how are you going to address it?
Well, my number one issue, the thing that I'm trying to go for the most, is encouraging youth and youth engagement. I'm a youth myself, and
I was going to say, you seem so unconnected with the young people of today. Sorry, Regan.
Yeah, no, well, that's the thing. Like, I believe that everybody, all the youth, should be able to participate in politics like I'm doing. And this transfer of power, it can't all be held in a select few. We all need to start sharing it. And especially at the moment, Wainuiomata is going through massive change.
Oh, yeah.
And as youth, I feel like we need, because we're going to be the ones inheriting this.
Bingo.
We're going to be the ones who need to actually have our voice in there as well.
And keep an eye on what's happening, because we've all learned
100%.
what happens if we take our eye off local government.
Absolutely.
We just do a whole bunch of stuff. It's really fascinating.
It really is.
Do you have a party trick?
Yes. Well, actually, I used to, my very first job was I used to dress up as Batman for kids' parties.
Get out of town.
I'm serious. This is what I was doing. So I was actually...
Was that pretty much your first job?
That was my
Batman?
first job. Honestly.
Superhero.
I was. I'm Batman.
Oh my god, and you do the voice.
I do the
This
voice.
is gold.
It was awesome. Yeah, I loved it.
So maybe dress ups.
Yeah,
can be
absolutely.
implemented
Or
as
just
well.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, I have to tell you, in fact, any colleagues watching will remember I used to work in an office for a corporate, and we implemented Dress Up Fridays once a month. So we would just randomly turn up to the office and work the whole day in costume. We had some good times.
So
the
good.
salad days, as I like to call them. Are you aware of SDGs?
Yes, yeah, I am. The UN ones, right?
Wonderful, yes.
Yeah, so my thing with them is I love them, and they're really broad.
Who doesn't,
and
right?
They're amazing.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can achieve them all, but rather than looking at them as goals, I like to look at them as actions. What can
Nice.
we do to implement them?
Brilliant. What can we do?
What can we do? So that's the thing. I for stuff like poverty and stuff, I mean, it's very hard to achieve that just through a community board. But I feel like if we all start making changes together, we can really make and implement some change. So for stuff like environmental situations, I mean, it starts in our own backyard. Having these kind of pick-up trash days. I used to have this thing called Regan's Rubbish Run, where I would help some of the kids run up and pick up rubbish. And I feel like a community can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's in our power. We just have to kind of get up and do it.
Great. I like it. Rallying the people.
Yeah.
Now, who's going to get your vote for Bird of the Year?
Bird of the Year. Well, there are many good ones. There are many good ones.
Such a political answer.
Such a political
You have to choose one.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going a little bit unorthodox here. I'm going to say a sparrow.
Not native. Come on.
Not native, but I feel like the sparrow doesn't get enough love.
Yeah, but this isn't about love. This is about getting people to have aroha for our native birds. So I'm going to disregard that answer. You're allowed to have it, but I'm not.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to keep it. I want a New Zealand native bird.
Yeah, then it has to be the tui.
Okay.
Yeah.
Majestic.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Absolutely. I mean...
Melodic, cheeky.
Yeah.
Stealing other people's songs, honestly. But they are beautiful. Okay, fair enough. I know you're going for the board, but what specific actions by council are you going to keep your eye on to help them combat the climate crisis?
Right. So I'm going to make sure that some of the stuff like waste disposal, it's you know, it's really an issue, and we've seen that in the Wainuiomata board recently, right? So I feel like ensuring that we know where our waste is going and keeping an eye on it. We don't want it dumped in some lake somewhere, especially in the Wainuiomata places, because I've heard you say in earlier interviews, and I completely agree, some of the water bodies we have around here are amazing. And it would be such a shame if we lost it to rubbish.
Mm-hmm. Is there a particular song that you cannot resist dancing to?
Yeah, absolutely. Mambo number 5 is always the one that I just, it takes over, you know? Starts in the foot, gets all the way up.
And then you're away doing
And then
doing
I'm
that
away.
move. How do you plan to better involve residents in decision-making processes around the board and around council?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those things where, as I say, I'm really passionate about getting youth into politics.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure that we have regular communication, the Wainuiomata board in particular, with the Wainuiomata High School and high schools in the area, just to make sure that, you know, youth know that their voice is worthwhile. And also, you know, having these events go on throughout the year, some of the stuff on Policy Local that I've put up kind of focuses on the making these little like storytelling events, and when we're having these sharing these stories of each other, I feel like we can figure out some of the new ways of going. So yeah, things like that.
Nice. Okay, that sounds really good. Final question.
Yeah.
What is your go-to karaoke song?
My go-to which song?
Karaoke. I
Karaoke.
pronounce it funny because I studied Japanese for 2 years.
Oh,
In New Zealand we say karaoke, but it's not karaoke, my loves. It's karaoke.
That's fair enough, honestly. Yeah, go-to, I would have to say, it's a...
Ooh. Just take all the time you need. I'll just be
yeah.
over here enjoying myself.
I love so many songs. I would have to say, though...
But it's not about the song you love, it's about the song that your voice can cope with, right?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crowded House. Something from Crowded House. I don't
Yeah.
know exactly which one, but anything that you play, I think I can hit them.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. You're sounding confident. I like it. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me
Thank
on
you.
the hot seat today. What do we want you to do, you guys? We want you to donate to Protect Wainuiomata River on the Give a Little page. We want you to keep watching. There are more people today. I've got them lined up. It's back to back. It's quite scary. Have fun. Be safe. Be kind to each other. And thank you for watching. Ka kite.
Ka kite anō.